To effectively use Azure Monitor with Azure SQL Scale-Out, start by understanding the basics of Azure Monitor and Azure SQL. Azure Monitor is a comprehensive monitoring service that provides detailed insights into the performance and health of your Azure resources, including Azure SQL databases. Azure SQL is a cloud-based relational database service that supports scalable, secure, and high-performance databases. The first step in using Azure Monitor with Azure SQL Scale-Out is to enable monitoring for your Azure SQL database. This is done by navigating to the Azure portal, selecting your Azure SQL database, and clicking on the Monitoring tab. From here, you can enable diagnostics and configure the metrics and logs you want to collect. Next, configure Azure Monitor to collect metrics and logs from your Azure SQL database. This includes metrics such as CPU usage, memory usage, and query performance, as well as logs such as query logs and error logs. You can also configure alerts to notify you when certain conditions are met, such as high CPU usage or slow query performance. To scale out your Azure SQL database, use Azure SQL Database Elastic Pools or sharded databases. Elastic pools allow you to pool resources such as CPU and memory across multiple databases, while sharded databases allow you to distribute data across multiple databases. Azure Monitor can help you monitor the performance of your scaled-out database and identify areas for improvement. Best practices for using Azure Monitor with Azure SQL Scale-Out include regularly reviewing metrics and logs, configuring alerts to notify you of potential issues, and using Azure Monitor to troubleshoot performance issues. Additionally, consider using Azure Monitor to monitor other Azure resources that interact with your Azure SQL database, such as Azure Virtual Machines or Azure Storage. By following these steps and best practices, you can effectively use Azure Monitor to monitor and optimize the performance of your Azure SQL database, even as you scale out to meet the needs of your growing application. This will help you to ensure the reliability, performance, and security of your database, and to identify areas for improvement to optimize your database for your specific use case.